Viewers, welcome back to my channel Literary Miscellanea, and today I am going to discuss about a poem prescribed in compulsory English syllabus, that is AEC, of major minor students under NEP 2020. So this poem, as you all know, is very much significant in the context of uh, nation, nationality, patriotism, and the time when Tagore wrote this poem was full of topsy-turvy, and full of hostilities in our country, and our country was under the British colonial rule. So let's discuss first about the poet Rabindranath Tagore. You know that Rabindranath Tagore is a famous Bengali poet and a versatile writer, an essayist, a composer, an artist, playwright, novelist, short story writer, travelogue writer, and music composer, performer also. So he is, one personality who has many aspects and who has outdid the contemporary writers and poet, and by dint of his writing he became world famous, and he was known as a world poet. This visionary philosopher and educationist also was born on 7th May 1861 and was died on 8th August 1941. He was a great nationalist and was a visionary, was an intellectual of the then hostile period, of the then unrest period, when the nation was under the merciless oppression of the state apparatus of British supremacy, and the nation was struggling to get its much desired freedom. National heroes were united together to face all the challenges put by the British, and gradually they overcome all the challenges and became successful to get the much desired freedom in 1947. But before this, when the freedom movement was blooming, and it was 1905 when the Bengal divide was imposed by the notorious Viceroy Lord Curzon, and then in Surat Congress, in Surat Assembly in 1907, our nationalists, our national heroes were divided into two groups: the radicals group and the moderate group. Rabindranath Tagore was much thoughtful about the situation, about the future of the nation, and over the period of time it came when the Viceroy was changed, and it was Lord Hardinge in 1911 who annulled, who cancelled the Bengal division, and again the Bengal, Bihar and Orissa was united, and after that Rabindranath Tagore recollecting painful, recollecting the very aggrieved situations, aggrieved circumstances, had surrenders himself to the God's power, to the Almighty's power, and he had decided to write some devotional poetry in honor to God, in the worship to God. And the devotional poetry are named, are anthologized as Gitanjali. Gitanjali was originally written in Bengali version. There were almost 156 or 157 poems written all together and anthologized as Gitanjali in 1910. And it was totally different type of poetry in comparison to the world contemporary poetry. So Rabindranath had decided to translate himself the anthology in English, and of course he took help from W.B. Yeats. And when he completed the translation in 1912, 2 years after his original writing in Bengali, then he approached to W.B. Yeats, and who, after reading some of his devotional poetry, was very much amazed and decided. W.B. Yeats, the famous poet, the contemporary of Rabindranath Tagore, who was also born in 1965 and died earlier, just 2 years earlier of Rabindranath Tagore in 1939, and he has decided to write an introductory part, an epoch-making introduction of the anthology Gitanjali, which he has given the name. Actually, Rabindranath Tagore himself had given the name as Song Offerings in English. So in this book, in this anthology, the poetry number 35 is named as Where the Mind is Without Fear. This poem is also a part of the anthology, and thematically it is a devotional poetry. It is addressed to the Almighty God, and the poet wished to transform his nation into a world-class nation, into a nation where the invisible walls of caste, creed, gender will be wiped out, and all the countrymen will be living in harmonious way. That is the main theme of the poem. Let us start the poem line by line. One thing I would like to say here, that this poem, the translated version of Gitanjali or Song Offerings is actually consists with 103 poems, and it was published in November 1912 by India Society Publication House, that is situated in London. And that's how the attraction of foreign poet writers come to the fore. So we have completed the about the poet, we have completed the context of the poem, And now we'll discuss the point line by line and its word notes. So the point is, the first line of the point say, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. The first line of the poem is taken as a title, and all the attraction, all the main theme and motive of the poem is magnetized in the first line of the poem. Here the poet ascertain and put a proposal about the future nation, about how the future nation would be. And he said that the future nation would be like that. What? That where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, the future nation and the future countrymen mind will be fearless, and the head will be held high. Without fear, without bowing down the head, and where men can express their thoughts, their mind freely. Where knowledge is free, knowledge is power. When one has the knowledge, one has everything. The Francis Bacon quotes, knowledge is power. Knowledge is everything. In the present perspective, knowledge or learning or information is the most important thing, is the most valuable thing. So when knowledge is free, the point visualize, at the time that the future country would be as like as the culture of knowledge would be there, and knowledge, gaining knowledge would be free. Gaining and imparting knowledge will be free. I don't know whether the poet's dream is fulfilled or not. Standing in the present day, standing in the present situation, you will better know. So the point is of the opinion that the knowledge of humankind is not bound to be chained, not bound to be stagnant. It will be flowing as a stream, and it will be free for all. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic wars. And the poet again dreamed for a nation where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic wars, where the nation, or in broad way, the world will be, borderless. The world will live in fraternal way, in harmonious way. Supporting one another. So the point here confirms that the future world would be as like an utopia. Thomas More's utopia? Utopian nation is the target of the point. He here from through this line, the point wants to convey the message that the world or the nation would not be broken up, should not be broken up in the name of gender, in the name of caste, in the name of creed, in the name of color, in the name of religion. All should be treated by their quality, by their speciality inherent in him or her. And where words come out from the depth of truth, and also the poet proposes, wished for a world that where words come out from the depth of truth, the words are no longer get distorted or no longer come by in a distorted way. It will be as truth as the rising of a sun, the coldness of an ice. So this is the main thing, that the words come out from the depth of truth. What a man wants to say should be in his lips. The duplicity of words, the equivocal words should not be there. Man should be pure, corruption free, and follow truth or truthfulness, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, and where people will work together, will earn their living or livelihood by their hard labor, by stretching their striving arms, by using their hands, by using their heads, by using their eyes, by using their strength, by using their uniqueness, creativity. And that is how the world or the nation will gain perfection, will combine the perfection. It is said that a man is born with uniqueness, with unique inherent quality. So the man should know his or her unique quality and act accordingly. And that's how he will be successful. The poet insists on the fact that a man should work on his or her own quality, own labor. So this is also, the human rights and the human trafficking is also indirect issue of this poem, where the poet indirectly to push forward the message of human trafficking, of human rights, where men are bound to work in a factory in mean works hour by hour all day long, violating their human rights. So the point here also would like to say the message, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. And the poet again wished, again visualize the future world, the future nation, that where the clear stream of reason, the reason is here compared with clear stream, with a flowing stream. The flowing stream is clear, is pure, and the reason should be clear, should be pure. If the reason is obstructed by narrow domestic walls, by narrow, some benefits, self-benefits, selfishness, then the reason will be dead. And here the points want to say that the reason should be as clear as a stream, so that words flows out from the mind as flawlessly as a stream. And the point here say that the reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, and the reason also need to be updated. The reason need to be changed, need to be unique, something new. Because the reason is ever changing. The man's faculty of imagination is ever changing, and it is not bound to stay at one point. If it stays at one point, the development would be stopped, like a stagnant river, stagnant water. So the point here wants to assert that the reason should not be as the dreary desert, sand, or the dead habit, should not be the obsolete, ideas, obsolete belief, superstitions, superstitious belief. Reason should be always updated. So this is the fact the point wants to focus upon, emphasize upon. And here again he said, where the mind is laid forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. By thee, by thee means here thee, the capital T. Thee means God. Where the mind is laid forward by thee and you, the Almighty. You are the one who knows everything, who sees everything, and who can bestows us with your blessings. Where the mind is laid forward by thee and you, our mind, you should lead our mind towards right path, towards right way, towards righteousness, into the ever widening thought and action. And it should be ever widened. It should be ever as vast as an ocean. The faculty of reason, the faculty of imagination should be ever changing and should bring new discoveries, new inventions, new thoughts, new logic, new action. So here the ever widening thought and action mean the coordination of head and hands. The head will thought, will think, and the head and the hands will work. So the coordination of hands and heads and head and hands will lead towards perfection, towards the desired goal. And the desired goal is what? Universal truth. A world where the narrow thinking, narrow boundaries will be omitted, will be obliterated, and the people will live harmoniously. People will live with fraternity. Into the heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. The last line is very significant. Into that heaven of freedom, the freedom is called as heaven. Freedom is important, and what important one will give to freedom who doesn't taste the the sweetness of freedom, who doesn't taste the sweetness of freedom. He knows, he craves for the freedom. One who is always captured or always taken as a caged bird. The caged bird will know what the freedom is. A caged man will know what the freedom is. So the freedom is equal to heaven. If one gets the freedom, one gets the heaven. How wonderful! Because the nation was struggling for their freedom from the British rule, and the nation was well known about the struggling, about the challenges, about the hostilities that they had to face to get the much desired, much coveted freedom. And hence the poet Rabindranath Tagore also wanting the same, and hence he has termed freedom as heaven. And he wished, he prayed to God, my Father, and everyone's Father is God. There is one Father who is God, and he addressed God as Father. My Father, let my country awake. Let my countrymen have the ability, have the capability, have the charismatic workloads to earn freedom, to seize freedom from the oppressors. So this is what all about the poem, and the mind is without fear, and it is proverbial poem and much anthologized, widely read poem. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Please subscribe my channel and stay tuned. Thank you.